Okay, we are going to do the second part of 7-7. Today we're going to be dealing with compound interest utilizing the formula. How we say this big old formula here, we say B, which is our balance. B is equal to P times 1 plus R to the n. Here's what we got going on. Let me identify all these variables. B is balance. P is our principal, what we start with. R is our interest rate. And N is it's a time situation. So B equals P times 1 plus R to the N. B represents our balance. P is our principal. R is our time. And R is our interest rate and N is our time. We got some steps going on when we want to do these things. The first thing we do is determine N. Now notice that our N is equal to the number of compounds we have times our time. So sometimes they might say compounded annually, and that would be 1. Compounded, so here's a different, write this down. You might have annually. You might have semi-annually. You might have quarterly. Well, annually means 1, semi-annual means 2, and quarterly means 4. Very important to know that. And then the second thing we're going to do is determine our R. R is equal to our interest rate divided by compounds. So this slash means divided. Our interest rate divided by our compounds. So again, the compounds you have to identify. Is it an annual? Is it a semi-annual? Or is it a quarterly compound? Okay. Third thing we'll do is evaluate inside our parentheses. Then we raise that to whatever the nth power is. The nth power is, again, identified in step 1. And then we'll times that by our principal, our starting money. I'm just going to have you watch me go through this first example because it is such an intense concept that we haven't really been exposed to much. I want to know what's the balance of an investment of $1,500 that earns an interest rate of 2% compounded quarterly after 6 years. So I put our little steps over here to help you figure out how to identify this step. And the first thing I need to do is find my N. And it says N is equal to our compounds times time. So it looks to me like I'm compounded quarterly. What does quarter mean? 4. So my N is equal to 4 times my time, which is 6 years. So my N is equal to 24. That's me just figuring out step 1, my N. Step 2, determine my R. R is equal, now I'm utilizing these little formulas down here. R is equal to our rate divided by our compounds. So what's my interest rate? Okay, so I can use 0.02 or 2 for right now if I want to keep it as percent. I'm going to just keep it as a percent quick. So I say 2 divided by how many compounds do I have? 4. 2 divided by 4, which is 1/2, right, or 0.5. That's 0.5%, right? 0.5%. Now I convert the 0.5% into a decimal. 0.005. That's my R. That's me figuring out R. Step 3. Oh, I now utilize this formula. I'm going to scoop this up. my balance is equal to my principal times 1 plus r all to the n. Well, I have my n, I have my r, I have my principal, it's up there hidden, and then I find my balance. So my balance is equal to, how much did I start with? Anybody remember? 1,500? My balance is equal to 1,500 times 1 plus my r, 0.005, to the nth, which is 24. 1,500 times 1.005 to the 24. Now how I do this in my calculator, I just hit 1.005 and then that little to the 24th power, then I hit equals. Okay, I hit equals right away and it gives me some crazy number. Then I just go times that, I hit times 1,500 is equal to 1690.74. It's very important that when you do the 1 plus, when you do this part right here, you hit enter right away because there's an order of operations issue that'll go on. Okay, if you don't go this to the 24th power and then enter, the calculator is going to think there's something else going on with order of operations. Okay? Very important. All right, we're going to do another example. This takes practice and is very difficult. I get it. Okay? So, what is the balance of an account that is initially 900, so that's our P, with an interest rate of 12% compounded semi-annually after 5 years? So the first thing I want to do is determine my N. So N is equal to my compounds. Well, what does semi-annual mean? 2. My compounds times my time. How much time did I have? 5. So that's 10. The second thing I do is determine my R. R is equal to my interest rate. What's my interest rate? 12 divided by my compounds. Divided by compounds is 2. Semi-annual means 2. Which is 6%, which is 0.06. All right, now third, I just kind of plug it all in. So my balance is equal to my principal, again is 900, times 1 plus 0.06 to the n, which is 10. 900 times 1.06 to the 10. And then in my calculator, I hit 1.06. And then that little, here's what I hit, for those of us that want to know. I hit 1.06, and then that little caret button, which is like a power, yep, to the 10. And then I hit equals. And then I get 1.79 and a whole bunch of numbers, right? And now I'm going to times that by, I just hit equal and I don't do anything new. Then I just hit times 900 and I get 1611.76 is my balance. Yep. To the 10 because it's 2, huh? Yeah, 2 times 5. Your compounds times your time. Compounds times time. Let's try one more. Here, I'll make one. Okay. You have an investment of $12,450 put into an account that earns 9% interest compounded quarterly. how much will you have after 6 years? All right, try to solve that one. I'm just bringing my little step thing over for us to reference when we're ready. All right, so the first thing we're going to do is figure out our n. N is equal to our compounds, which is compounded quarterly. What does quarterly mean? 4. 4 times our time, which is 6, so we get 24. R, now I get a lot of students messing this up, this R part up, so be so careful. R is equal to our interest rate divided by our compounds, which I think is 2.25, right? Yeah. That's your percent. We got to convert that to a decimal. Maybe you want to convert it to a decimal first, whatever's best for you. So this should be 0.0225. Now I have my balance is equal to my principal, 12,450, times 1 plus 0.0225, all to the 24. Which is 12,450 times 1.0225 to the 24th. Now in my calculator, I'm hitting 1.0225 to the 24th. I hit equals because it's some big number. And then I just hit times 12,450. Leaves me with $21,236.79. I think that's all the examples I'm going to go over with compounds. What I would recommend you do is just watch the video to work through these couple steps. Or examples, I should say, lots of steps.